clerical government there is. But I think we need to hold off on getting too exuberant with our predictions as well, because
in terms, Piotr, we know that that's true about Khamenei not being probably inside of Tehran. But with all that information that we have, Qom was hit, which is mainly the religious section. Other areas like Isfahan were hit. So there's a probability that he was somewhere over there and they hit his house just for like another hurrah.
Well,
Can I jump in on that?
He was in his bunker.
It's not easy for him to be moved around. Like, he's 86. He's not going to be springing about, and they have to be, I think, considerate of just how mobile he is. I'm not very well aware of his well-being, of his physical health, but anyone of that age has to be, they have to be given enough time to be relocated. And what, is he going to be living in sort of a tunnel system or in the mountainous regions? I find that difficult to imagine, because it wouldn't be easy for him to sustain himself very well. He's not.
May I jump in on that, guys? May I jump in on that one?
Okay. Wait, Eyal, did you say you had any breaking news, or I just didn't know?
No, I just wanted to say that as far as I understand from Channel 12, he was hit in a bunker, not in his
Voice. I think you're going to follow up on that. Go ahead, Voice. If it was in the bunker, go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think that in order to understand how this is going to unroll, we need to understand the entire intelligence image and all the components. We had Iranian media prior to this attack reporting that Khamenei is in a safe place and was moved, and he was attacked during a time before he was about to record his speech to the nation. And after that, shortly after the shortly after this news came out, also Naim Qassem have canceled his speech. So it only shows you that Israel had real-time intelligence about Khamenei's whereabouts. And I think the objectives before this attack weren't to eliminate Khamenei, because this might, in one of the possible scenarios, it might ignite the entire region. And we're talking about Kataib, Hezbollah, and all of this. The mistake that Iran did was attacking also other Muslim countries, and now anyway it's a regional war. So I think Israel have delivered this blow in order to cause confusion and then to reorganize for a more extensive regional war. And this is exactly what happened. And it's crazy to see how Israel and the United States together had put this scenario of how they anticipated the IRGC to respond. And we are a few hours in now, and it really looks like they're following everything that was expected from them. And I think that if Kataib, Hezbollah from southern Lebanon, Iraqi militias, any of these will interfere, Israel and the United States has a scenario in place. And I think that if Khamenei will be eliminated, the United States will take the credit for it. And if not, it will be Israel's fault, and that's totally fine.
Okay, I have a question just to trip for Shireen. Shireen, do you have something breaking or no?
No. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, all good. Shireen, we were talking about the internal structure, and I know based on your background, you might have some information about this. In regards to MEK, do you think they are ready to take over on the ground? And what are those next steps? Because they claim that they have a transitional government in place.
Yes, they do. They have thousands of resistance units inside of Iran. They have carried out a lot of organized attacks. And as one of your speakers said, just a few days ago, they did attack the Khamenei's headquarters. So if they have that much, I don't agree with certain things that have been saying, by the regime for years, calling them cults or telling that they have no support. Because if they don't have support, how can they organize? such a movement, so many, more than 10,000 resistance units inside of Iran. And, they're very well organized, and they're very well educated and dedicated. They are dedicated for the regime change. And that's what you see, and that's what the Iranian regime doesn't want to see to expand. And there are thousands of its supporters that right now are in prison, and we have at least 16 of the supporters that are condemned to executions. So that, to me, shows that they do enjoy a strong support. And I think the new generation also have realized that the only group that has been fighting this regime and has been steadfast and always have one goal, and that was the regime change. They realize that there is a group that has been fighting, and we are enjoying even more support nowadays, and specifically after what happened in January. We are seeing huge line of support joining our resistance units, because people have realized that the only way they can fight this regime is fighting them militarily. And one thing that we are emphasizing everywhere is to recognize the rights of Iranian people for the regime change and fighting back.
Shireen,
That's what we're asking.
How about MEK? The problem with Iran, it has been in all the discussion we had, is that every group seems to be independent. What about the relationship they have with the Kurds, the Baluch, the Turk, Azeris, for example? And are they ready to take over right now on the ground? Could
they are ready. This morning, the office of Mariam Rajavi had published made an announcement that they announced the form of the government in exile. They have been ready, and our relationship with all the minorities are fantastic. You can look at that. The Zahedan, actually within Kurdish and Baluchis, they have a very strong support of the people. So we are already, and just forming the Kurdish group, the Kurdish group that is that it never happened before, shows that. And one of the the Kurdish group are Chabad, who are very strong allies of NCRI, National Council of Resistance. So, and other groups like Pejak, Democrat, all of them, they are
if I could jump in with some additional news, sorry, just quickly. So there's back and forth. Now we're getting Israel Hayom is reporting that Israel assesses the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei was injured in the strike. So Channel 12 is saying killed. Israel Hayom is saying injured. So we're getting conflicting reporting there. This is all from our app. And then the other one is I-24 News estimates that the military operation in Iran is expected to last at least a week, depending on developments, and that's per I-24 News. Sorry, Shireen, I'll let you finish your points.
Just to point out, sorry, Sitrab, sorry, Shireen, to point out about the messaging. We've seen it with Hassan Nasrallah. We've seen it with we've seen it with people that weren't killed. Like Safiyuddin, they claimed that he died 6 times before he actually died. It's always the same. There's people that will claim that the person dead, people that will claim he's injured, people that will claim that he has a problem. At the end of the day, until we got a confirmation, we can't say what actually happened. I'm talking to the audience right now, but we can't claim what actually happened. There is no way. The death of Khamenei is a big thing. It's not something small, and so we're gonna wait on getting as much confirmation as possible before announcing anything. But there has been an attempt, based on what we know, Israel attempted to assassinate Ali Khamenei, who's the supreme leader of Iran. That we have confirmation about.
James, may I clarify 2 points, please?
Yes, Anas.
Just want to quickly say that I won't be available for a few minutes, but in a few minutes I will be available. I need to get another call, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. The first one is, if you look at the 5 regime changes in the last 100 years in Iran, the mullahs, who are the religious leaders, been heavily involved in each one of them. Even when the
alarms in central Israel.
Okay.
So
yeah, seems to be an ongoing attack on central Israel right now. Anas, yes, keep going.
yes. So the mullahs, the religious leaders, were involved in every political change. Even when the Mossadegh movement failed, Mossadegh basically was supported by the mullahs in 1951, and then they disagreed with him, and they literally cooperated with the CIA. So the Khomeini teachers, I'm talking about Imam Khomeini, who died a long time ago, I'm not talking about Khamenei. His teachers basically cooperated with the CIA when they kicked Mossadegh out and brought the Shah back. So the idea that a secular regime will come into the country is not supported by historical trends in Iran. The mullahs will still have the say in it, and probably if there is a regime change, they have to be part of it. Someone mentioned Hayat al-Nusra in Idlib and concentrated only in one province. Please, there were 2 million refugees in Idlib. The current Syrian government, most of it is not even from Idlib. Most of them are from the refugees who've been in Idlib. Most of them are from the south and other areas. So it's not only Idlib, it's really from all Syria. Back to you.
Anas, about the point, is MEK considered a religious group in some sense? Even though they have secular attachment, they still have an attachment to the religion in itself.
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm saying here is that the whole idea that those mullahs, the ones who are in control right now, they will remain part of any change that's going to happen. Because that's what the 5 regime changes tell us.
Can I jump in on Anas's point? I think I'm not sure. I don't think the mullahs will stay in power. Historically, as someone who has studied this historically, they have been planning for it, and there's a famous saying that this country owes a government to the mullahs, to the Shiite mullahs, and we've done that. We've been there, and they've lost all legitimacy. Now, that is not to say that it's going to be completely secular and the religion is going to go away altogether. No, I think the mullahs are not going to have much of a role, if any, but the technocrats, the religious ideologues, the Islamists will still be there. But I really don't see any role for the mullahs anymore, unless, some of them in the reformist faction that are completely transformed. But the mullahcracy, as I like to call it, I think it's over.
Thank you. I want to go to Satrap. You had a breaking.
No, not yet. Go ahead. I just tracking everything and going on. No, but I got nothing breaking yet. Oh, wait. There might be. Hold on. No, let me confirm this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to
James,
go to,
I just want to, before you
yeah,
continue, just one sentence.
I was going to you, Voice. I was specifically going to you.
See, we're great minds think alike.
So I wanted to ask you something specifically. So the attack today, we got conflicting information about the targets. So Israel, at the beginning, Israel claimed that Israel was targeting more ballistic missiles and non-government targets, so IRGC target, while the US targeted the nuclear points and the government target. And then this changed over the day. Can you clarify that point and talk about what are the next steps in terms of that conflict compared to others?
Well, I can try, but let's start from the beginning of your question. So I think it's pretty clear that the radars wasn't doing anything to the attack, because as opposing to what we saw in the first day of the 12 days war in Rising Lion operation, then we saw that the radars were the one that went first. Now we see that actually the many of the radars that Iran was supposed to receive from China and Russia, I don't know, I didn't really see them there. And I think there were two main target banks that were anticipated in the planning of this operation. One of them was also dependent on taking out detection capabilities. And since this one was out of the way anyway, I think then Israel strategically went to the second target bank, which is the offices of the Iranian intelligence, the Iranian Defense Ministry, the Agency for Atomic Energy, and also, of course, the Supreme Leader residence in Tehran as well. So I think that was the second target bank that we saw. These were exactly the targets that were attacked. And of course, this is an unrolling scenario. We are 7.5 hours, something like that in, and this is an unrolling scenario. We need to see if there will be a confirmation also about the death of Khamenei, because that's going to change everything. This is a Shia character. It's not just the leader of a country, and he's a religious symbol. And you see also that the psychological warfare machine is really trying to turn this into an Islamic war. You see Arakchi saying today that this is a war on the entire Muslim world. They are saying it while they are bombing their neighbors. So what we're seeing right now is the leadership of Iran stupidly chose to make this a bigger conflict. They want to make this war everybody's problem, not just their problem, because they know what the media backlash is going to be. And I think moving forward, everything is dependent on that confirmation. Look, usually Israel cannot confirm that faster than people that are in Iran on the ground. And I'm guessing once the IRGC will realize that Khamenei is, got hit and eliminated, they would have two possibilities. Either they keep this information to themselves and they let the proxies know first. So, quote unquote, Israel won't see it coming, although they will. Or they will deny it for several weeks in order to buy time. So these are the two scenarios that we are looking right now. I think no one is in Israel nor in the United States is thinking about the day after. This is something that the Iranian people are thinking about, and I totally understand. But right now, we are just trying to build the defense around the possible scenarios that will happen. And this is what will happen moving forward. And let's see if Hezbollah will join or not.
Quick update.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
There were about 10 missiles in the latest barrage directed at Tel Aviv. Not all of them were destined to fall in populated areas, so some of them were intercepted. Some, I think, went astray. I haven't heard any interception, so all the interception probably have occurred in outer space, unlike several that I've heard before.
So, thank you. Other points that I want to bring up, the most medias that talked about having a speech of Ali Khamenei in the next couple of hours have walked back the statement. They said that this statement is not confirmed, that they can't confirm at that time that Ali Khamenei will have a speech. Sitrap, you had news.
Have you guys seen the update from Iran International about Ali Simkhani?
Well, what did Iran International say? Because we shared we shared Israeli media. Give me a second. So Ali, long-time security official, Okay, so Shabkani was reportedly killed. We did report that earlier. Israeli media did report that. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, IRGC significant facilities and capabilities, naval facilities and underground facilities likely associated with their nuclear program. Pause there. The underground facilities are also a huge component of Iranian ballistic missile program. Like, so when you see underground facilities, to me that screams much more ballistic missile the ballistic missile program, much more so than the nuclear program. But
I agree.
digress.
Yeah.
So, Tomahawk missiles were used in the first volley of strikes. We have effectively suppressed their air defenses, one U.S. official told me, to the Fox News reporter. This was a multi-geographic command and control design to overwhelm Iran's defenses. There were hundreds of targets in what is being described to me as a multi-day operation. The Iranian response has been ineffective, according to one senior U.S. official. Whew. Anas.
Yes, a couple of things. We've seen on Twitter and social media many prestigious people on some big accounts posting the Saudi foreign ministry statement on the attacks on the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar. And they are saying that they are trying to convince people in the English part that the Saudis will join the United States in the attack on Iran. Surprisingly, basically, some very prestigious people and some politicians basically are saying this. This is completely false. If you read it in Arabic, there is no mention at all of that. The only thing that mentioned that they will put all their capabilities in the hands of the Emiratis to defend themselves. It has nothing to do with attacking Iran or joining the United States, but I am surprised that many prestigious people...
Actually, Anas, let me ask you a question. Could this be a short-term detente or even a way for a long-term solution between, like, I don't want to say Cold War, but let's say Saudi, UAE tensions because of Yemen, East Africa, et cetera? Do you think that this might tie them all, get them back together and kind of that brotherly aspect?
Just
or
before
the
we go-
underlying tension is too much? Oh, go ahead,
Before
James.
we go to Anas, there was a report of a call between MBS and MBZ, so that hasn't happened since they started like conflicting lately. So just for info, Anas.
Yeah, there is a saying in Arabic for those who know Arabic. Me and my brother against my cousin, and me and my cousin against the enemy. So that's kind of a well-known saying in Arabic. So this could literally break the ice between those two countries. But here is the second point I would like to make. I'm looking at a live
we have
map.
more alarms. The density of the alarms is now every few minutes.
So I'm looking at the live map of oil tankers in the Gulf and Hormuz Strait. And here are some facts that we see right now. Again, this is live. There are some oil tankers transiting the Hormuz Strait. Or the companies that said they are going to send ships, it seems it does not cover what is at sea right now. So those ships basically just want to go through. In the last 20 minutes or so, it seems that with a decline in attacks, seems that some ships are trying to make it quickly through the Hormuz Strait. But not a single large oil tanker in any port in Iran. Iran pushed all its tankers out last week. So you see them in the Sea of Oman, all of them gathering. They are full of oil, but they are far away in the international waters. So there is not a single oil tanker in any port in Iran right now. Full of oil, of course. Back to you.
And this is something where I think we're not necessarily putting enough attention on, and I do believe, like, Iran is trying to do with the ballistic missiles and everything, but in the end of the day, this report from Fox News is interesting, where they kind of say that the response has been ineffective by Iran, but the U.S. has air superiority. I mean, they have. Oh, wait, hold on. I just got another notification. Shit, where did it go? Sorry. While it loads, in addition, this is coming from, who's this reporting from? Same, and Channel 12. I know people are not going to love it or whatever, but I got to report it. An Israeli source reported that the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's son was also a target in the initial strike, though he was reportedly not harmed. So, and the reason why he was targeted is because he's a potential successor. So the Khamenei's son was also targeted in the initial strike as well. Yeah, but I think this is the thing where, I know Iran with the ballistic missiles, we're not seeing the large launches that you would expect. Obviously, the Straits of Hormuz, I think, honestly, as you're saying, more like because of the concerns, but from a military perspective, the U.S. military has really degraded those naval capabilities. Yeah, it does look like the U.S. has the initiative and the dominance right now, and I think that's kind of one of the situations where, does Iran start looking at other targets to try to cause pain? But the U.S. and Israel basically own the skies. But Alan, I see you just joined us. You haven't had a chance to speak, so I'll go to you. Go ahead, Alan.
Hi, thank you, dear Mario, James, and Satcher. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm working in Dubai, so I see something, the performance in Dubai. So even though, even the Iran war is happening, but I think the Dubai and Abu Dhabi is just like the other daily life. So the people around the world and just the street, all the vehicle, it doesn't matter. So in my opinion, I think the Iran war is not a long time. Why should I say that? Because Mr. Trump and the other leaders shoot on the benefit at the beginning. So it's not for the long. Whatever the oil, the cryptocurrency, and the other market it doesn't matter. Just a little fog for this moment. I think so. All the people should not fuck for this moment. We should have the emotions and power for the next long run. It doesn't matter. But I think so. I hope peace for everybody. I hope this war is not for long. And God bless everyone. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, James. And so, if I have this opportunity, I will say something in the Dubai and the day after tomorrow. So I think it's not for long. So, okay. Thank you so much. Give me this opportunity. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Let me go to AB. Let me ask you that military question for a second. Actually, no. You know what, Ravi? We haven't heard you, and I know you've been waiting. So, Ravi, I'll give you a second to kind of talk because I know you glitched out earlier. Go ahead.
Thank you, guys. Can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I mean, thank you for the space you're running, as you've been running for I don't know how many hours now. But, I just realized that, I was in Abu Dhabi and Dubai last week with setting up a manufacturing plant. We had no idea this was coming. And just to give you the number, we have about 10 million Indian diaspora living in GCC. And I've been inundated with videos and different things. So my take really is that I really hope this is going to be quick. I really hope it's not going to be the way it was June. This needs to end. And what I see from the reading and all the discussion and all the things I'm following is that this is the final, I think even it was said earlier in your space, this is the final moment for the mullah regime, and they will do everything to destroy everything around it. So that's the sad part of it. I think nobody in GCC ever saw this. I mean, we knew it'll come, but now it's finally come. It's at the doorstep, so we don't know. It's like that wild final moment, right? You hit everywhere because you know that you want to go down. And I really, really hope that the US really is decisive. It does not drag it. This really needs to, of course, it's going to be ironical because a lot of civilian lives will be lost, which is extremely unfortunate. But these guys have to go because they have been doing this forever. And if you go back to the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s, I'm sure, I don't know how many of you remember that. I think it's a very similar moment. But here, AB, you asked me a question 2 days ago about, IMEC corridor. And here is the answer, because this is going to unify some of the forces to look at the broader picture of GCC. And really, for me, this is really redefining GCC. It's redefining the IMEC. It's redefining I2U2 and Abraham Accord. So we will see some collaboration of some of these tensions in the last few months and people coming together. So it is unfortunate, but I really hope, my wish is that this needs to be a quick war so we can really go on the other side of redevelopment and realignment. Again, thank you very much. And I've been in contact with the various folks from the Indian Embassy and putting people in touch. So it's not looking, people in Dubai and Abu Dhabi are not used to it. It's very, very disturbing from some of the videos that you are seeing right now.
Thank you, Ravi. I want to ask, it's very important the point you brought up, and that's what I want to ask Sitrep about something. Sitrep, we've been on those spaces for around 2 years. I wasn't here when Ukraine and Russia happened, but I was since the beginning of the Middle East situation. We have always been surprised by the inability to mount a response from some of those groups. Like Syria fell in a day. Hezbollah, we were expecting a lot more. Hamas, we were expecting a lot more. The Houthis did some damage, but limit to a limited extent. And it seems that they just crumble. Like it's like an empty shell that just crumbles when it's put under pressure. Do you think we're in that situation, or do you think with the Iranian regime it might be different?
I mean, I think the 12-day war kind of really highlighted a lot of the limitations, and then kind of also shows with the U.S. strike capabilities how overwhelming it could be. Now, granted, I mean, there's very few. Let me rephrase that. No country has the strike capabilities of the United States, right? So, from an expeditionary offensive air campaign, even with ballistic missiles, Iran always is going to have limitations in that. And then the aspect of the air defense. So, that's kind of the situation that we would have to analyze and look at. But I'm not going to go as far to say that Iran is crumbling. We're not even. I mean, we're 8 hours into this, right? So we're just really in the starts of this. It's going to be important to note how extensive these strikes are, what happens, and all that, and what situations happen on the ground. But I would say, James, at this rate, either the United States has really degraded the Iranian ballistic missile forces, or Iran is trying to consolidate forces to launch a counterattack in that way, because these onesies and twosies kind of ballistic missiles aren't going to be enough to really put enough political pressure on the U.S. to do it. I mean, yeah, they had a drone that hit a NAVCENT, the base in Bahrain. Okay. Even if it was the SIGINT platform. Like, that base has been evacuated for the most part. Let's be absolutely clear here. And it's not, that's why they evacuated, because they know, like, oh, we're not going to defend it, right? And so, but Iran needs to do more. They need to do more to kind of reestablish deterrence, because right now the U.S. has and Israel have a lot of leeway in doing this operations. And I think, James, that's the fundamental difference, is that I think the axis of resistance and Hezbollah and Iran learned the wrong lessons from 2006, and they thought they could sustain that, and they didn't realize how Israel, and then more importantly, the U.S. and more importantly Israel, adapted to 2006. And now I think that's being shown. So that's what I would say.
Sitrep?
I have, Anas, just one point before we go to you. Iran foreign minister, that's quite an important statement, but Iran foreign minister has said, Abbas Arigaishi, says that to his knowledge, both the supreme leader and the president are alive. That's quite telling statement, because in diplomacy, when you say to my knowledge, it's not a confirmation. He's giving a point. Okay, Anas?
Yes, I just urge everyone to see the post from the Omani foreign minister, which I put in the nest. I think this is going to haunt President Trump throughout. At the end of it, basically, he said, I urge the United States not to get sucked in farther. This is not your war. I think this is coming from a foreign minister. This is extremely important. But it is in the nest for those who would like to read it. Back to you.
Can I ask a question real quick here on that note specifically? Anas, one of the things I was looking for was the response to the foreign minister of Oman yesterday when he sent out that notice to all the GCC countries, the status update, if you will, from his conversation with Vice President J.D. Vance and even like the negotiations in Geneva. So I didn't see it, but again, there's so much chaos and so many posts that may have like shoved it down somewhere. But have they responded at all yet to the foreign minister's statement?
No, I mean, we have to remember the following. It's Ramadan time right now, as you know, in the Islamic world and in those countries. People are busy with all these things, so delays are expected. But the intensity of what happened basically are making them respond in the way they responded. But generally speaking, when you talk about Ramadan month, we are not expecting really kind of formal responses to these things. Thank you.
I think just going to continue to I think the aspects now is we're going to the point where when we started these spaces, on us to your point, right, with the Omani foreign minister, I think the counter argument for the administration was, oh, we gave negotiation a chance. we set our demands, and Iran didn't meet it. And so that's why they have it. This is give me a second. I mean, we did see this report, but going back at it, give me 1 second to pull it up. Again, this is from my app, so I just have to open it. U.S. forces uninjured in initial Iranian retaliatory strikes. Initial Iranian retaliatory strikes against U.S. personnel caused no injuries to American forces, as reported by a U.S. official. This is in the Washington Post. So let me just share that. But yeah, so far, no reported injuries whatsoever. And then just trying to share another one right now. I can't keep up. Let me see. We're seeing the Israeli Air Force. Okay, here we go. Israel strikes Iranian strategic air defense in Kermanshah. Okay. Israel military struck strategic Iranian air defense systems, including an SA battery in Kermanshah, and that's where the Israeli Air Force has released that. So we're getting some of these additional reports. So I'm going to share shortly up in the nest that report that I was sharing too. But Donna, I'll go to you, and then we can go to Ozzy. Go ahead, Donna.
Yes, well, I haven't been in the room for a while, and I was wondering if you've covered the strike at the Iranian primary school in the Minab city of
Right. Yeah,
Hormozgan.
we did way back. I mean, the Iranian media is claiming, for those who don't know, that 50. What was it? They're claiming 51 students were killed in that strike. Is that the one you're referring to?
Yes.
Did we lose Donna?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, we must have. There's also an orphanage. There's an orphanage and an elementary school.
I think we lost Donna there for a second. So let me go to you, Ozzy, until we get Donna back. Go ahead, Ozzy. Ozzy, you can go.
Sorry, I lost my mic for a second. Yeah, I wanted to kind of go back to something Anas and Ravi and Alan were talking about. I'm curious about this. I actually agree with their concerns coming out from their perspectives, like in leaders in like the business and energy industry. And so I agree that short disruption, even 10 to 12 days, could create this ripple effect. And we had talked about this. And what I was looking at is one of the signals, the markets, the oil markets, the gas markets. So when we're looking at it that way, this is one of the things I'm looking at. And as experts, I'm curious what their thoughts are on this. A full closure of the strait would be extremely escalatory, I think, and difficult to sustain, because we talk about the other countries that could be impacted, but I think it would also hurt Iran's own exports and China's energy security. So even that harassment or insurance shock could move these prices significantly. Sorry, I don't know if there's, so I'm curious what their thoughts are on this. You know, I heard, I think it was Ravi saying he hopes it's done very fast and we can't afford 10 days or 12 days. What indicators could we also see that this is moving in that direction to kind of stop the bleed, so to speak, and get everybody paused on this to maybe or reevaluate how we're assessing this specific to that?
I will tell you the conclusion.
And one last thing, Anas, I forgot to mention. I'm so sorry. One of the things that I had heard even from weeks ago is Europe had a major concern over this because Europe wouldn't be able to sustain like the oil and gas. They wouldn't be able to sustain it and would have to get it from other countries. And Saudi Arabia and Azerbaijan weren't necessarily ideal to be able to receive that for their countries in Europe. So just wanted to add that layer to it as well.
Yes, I will tell you the conclusions of our reports, and then the last point is very important because we covered it on Thursday. Let me start with the last one. The IEA and everyone else basically did everyone, Goldman Sachs and the banks did everyone a disservice when they have this manufactured story about an oil glut. That oil glut never existed. It does not exist. And now we are going to pay the price for it. And I hope someone will be fired because of these things. So if you look at the EU right now, their oil inventories at the lowest in a very, very long time. And I don't have specific date because our data goes back to 2013. And from until 2013, we never seen them this low. So if you look at the 5-year range, they are significantly below the 5-year range. And one of the reasons, because we lost that oil from Kazakhstan, because of the snowstorm and the freeze in the United States, we lost oil in oil production in the United States and Mexico. We lost oil from Brazil because of technical issues. So we had major losses in December and January that led to this low inventory. So EU, you are absolutely right on this point right now that EU inventories are very low, and we don't know what's going to happen in Europe. This is a serious problem. And they need certain type of crude quality. It's not like the United States just can't pump oil from shale and send it. This is not the solution because they need specific qualities. And only country, and this is one of the ironies and the unintended consequences, the only country right now that can save Europe is Russia. And this is going to be one ironic story for the history. The second issue is, for Asia, we should not be worried about it, even if we have delays because of the shipping. And the reason why, because we have those massive inventories in China. And China, basically, this has been going on for 10 years right now. They are going to flood the market with their oil to prevent oil prices from going up. At the same time, they make tons of money. So let's say if we wake up on Monday and oil prices are, say, 75 or 80 or even higher, they bought that oil from Russia and Iran at $40. So they make tons of money out of this war. So this is another unintended consequence of this. China will be making money, and they are the only one who can benefit from that, while the U.S. Shale industry is still struggling. We cannot get oil from any other country right now except Russia. Because
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I'm opening marine traffic, and I see at least 5 oil tankers now sailing in the Hormuz Strait. And as far as I also know, I'm sure that the U.S. Navy, their first priority is to keep the strait open. So what are we really talking about as far as closure of the straits? What does it mean when we are seeing some of those tankers actually crossing there?
Yes, we heard, I think Maral or Shireen basically mentioned this. First of all, Iran cannot close the Hormuz Strait. They can cause problems, or some part of the regime, or some cronies from Yemen or others can cause problems, but Iran cannot close it. Most of the Hormuz Strait is in Oman, not in Iran. The second point is, it is not in Iran's interest because most of their imports, even things they eat on daily basis, it comes through the Hormuz Strait. And all their oil exports basically go through the Hormuz Strait, so it's not in their interest. And the third point is, Israel basically, if something happened in the Hormuz Strait, Israel will not be affected at all. Period. Zero.
No, but I'm asking worldwide. What does it mean when we're talking about?
Well, I'm going through the sequence of points here. So Israel will not be impacted. The United States, the impact basically just higher prices, but they will hurt their own supporters. So they will hurt the Asian customers the most. So what I'm saying here is, first, they cannot, and the second, it is not in their interest. But their cronies can cause problems. What we are seeing right now is, if Bab el-Mandeb basically is closed, which is easier to close than the Hormuz Strait, and we end up, I'm talking about the worst case scenario, and we end up with serious problems in the Hormuz Strait, then we are talking about $15 to $20 increase in prices the moment the market opens. Back to you.
So it's more the Houthis that are the problem and not the Hormuz Strait?
At this stage, that's what we know.
It's the combination of both. That's what I understand from you. If the Houthis close the Bab el-Mandeb and then there is a ongoing conflict around the Hormuz Strait and the Gulf of Persia, you have a situation where it could lead to 20 point increase in the barrel. That's what you're saying, Anas?
Well, at this point, based on the news we know, it is mostly the Houthis, because the Hormuz Strait is not impacted. The companies, I can tell you this frankly, the companies that do not want to send their ships, they are not afraid that their ships will be attacked. They don't want to pay the high insurance, period.
Yeah, for sure. I still have one
Well,
question.
we have another alarm where I'm at, and as I said, the frequency of those alarms is increasing.
Is it always one? Are we getting information about how many ballistic missiles have been thrown?
No, they will, they will say it in the news. What we get is a 10 minutes warning on our phone, and then a minute and a half when it's incoming. The 10 minutes warning is when it's taking off from Iran, and the minute and a half is when it.
I mean, Ayal, since the beginning of the day, how many rockets and per salvo, how many ballistic missiles have been thrown? Like how many salvos?
Oh, I would estimate, we are in the high tens, of altogether that were directed at Israel.
Okay. Vladimir, I want to go to you quickly. The situation in Iraq also seems to be unstable right now with no government and no one to actually take over. This is Ayal, if you can close your mic, thank you. Being unstable with no government to actually take the load, where do you see this going in terms of the situation right now?
Well, actually, James, I think it's important to know, just FYI, sorry, I'll go to you, I think you said Vladimir, but just important, the foreign minister is live, or we're just live on NBC, the Iranian foreign minister giving statements. Right. What's interesting is he basically said, I'm paraphrasing, I think the supreme leader and the president are alive.
Based on my knowledge, he said, based on my knowledge in Iran,
okay.
He said, based on my knowledge, they are alive.
But it's interesting,
that's what I know.
He's probably, it would be very interesting, because and then we just see an advisor of the IRGC speak in the Iranian state media, but, those are the figures we're seeing. I just think we need to say that. But sorry, go ahead, Vladimir.
Yeah, so I mean, Khamenei had a lot of time to prepare. He knew that this was coming, so he was probably already in the bunker when it all started. From the beginning, the tension started. So I really doubt that. Actually, we haven't seen until now very high-level IRGC commanders being killed or not. But that's a different topic. You wanted to talk about Iraq. So just before this war started, there was a meeting between the U.S. envoy, who was also the ambassador to Turkey, with Nouri al-Maliki, who's the candidate of the Shia majority parties for becoming the Iraqi prime minister. And basically the message was that he should not be the prime minister, and that if he's going to continue being candidate, there will be sanctions on Iraq, because they perceive him to be close to Iran. But Nouri al-Maliki said that the media official of Nouri al-Maliki said they are not going to he's not stepping down until now. Although you should also, I think sometimes this narrative also is a little bit confusing, because if you don't have Maliki, you will get another Shia leader who is from the Shia parties that had ties to Iran. So it really don't make a difference if it's someone from the coordination framework that will become the prime minister. The only difference is that Nouri Maliki has more power, and because he has been the prime minister before. And at the same time, you also saw the strike on the Hashishabi, on Kateb al-Hezbollah in the Babel province, in which 2 people were killed. And also the Iraqi coordination framework, which is the majority of the Shia parties who also have ties to Iran. They also released a statement that they are against using Iraqi territory for any strikes on foreign countries. And the coordination framework basically said that. And also there was a statement, there was a phone call between the Iraqi foreign minister and the Iranian foreign minister. So there's a lot of, Iraq is really affected by this war, because most of the missiles and the drones and everything is going over Iraqi airspace and Syrian airspace. So that's why we also, we hear a lot of sounds all the time here in Iraqi Kurdistan, for instance. And there's a lot of videos of when the attack started on Iran, that there were a lot of videos of a lot of missiles and drones flying over. And also the night before, when we were on the space, I said there was sounds of fighter jets in the air. And at that time, we didn't really took it serious. But I think that was the first sign that there would be an attack on Iran. So Iraq is really affected by this war. And you have also a government that is a Shia majority dominated government with ties to Iran. And you have all these Hashishabi militias. And I also saw some Telegram channels saying that some of these Iranian-backed militias would start to take part in the war, that they were going to join the war. But until now, we haven't seen anything on the ground so much, like anything practical. Apart from that, there was this strike. And also I saw reports by Al Jazeera saying that the US said they will not hit anything in Iraq, that they will not involve Iraq in this. But the fact is that they're already using Iraqi airspace, of course, is already sort of involvement. But also the US said they will not hit any targets in Iraq. So most likely the strike on the Hashishabi group was done by Israel, basically. Yeah.
Can I interject here a little?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Maybe you guys talked about it a few hours ago, but the past couple of hours.
Just a point, Maral, sorry, it just came up just while you were speaking. People in the UAE, specifically in Dubai, have felt a big shake. So something have hit, it seems. I'll get confirmation and come back. So that's people actually on the ground over there.
James, do you know which areas in Dubai?
Not yet. I'm getting all the confirmation as soon as I can.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So I haven't heard us talking about Ali Larijani, and it just occurred to me, where is he? Why aren't we talking about him? And for some who might not know, in the National Council of what was it? A National Security Council. National Council of what was it? A National Security Council.
The new military council.
Yes, Secretary of National Security Council. And so there are some reports that are saying he might probably be also taken down, but I haven't seen any like real confirmations. Where is he and what is he doing? And it got me thinking when we heard those reports from Araghchi on American TV saying, I think that they're alive. I have a feeling he's getting those reports maybe from Larijani. And the fact that we're not hearing much about Larijani tells me that there are things going on behind the scenes and he is coordinating them. And it's important to kind of to follow him and figure out where his head is at and what he is doing. Especially when I'm guessing communication is broken down inside the Pasteur Avenue compound and everything. Has anyone heard anything? I keep looking, I can't find much about him.
I just want to say that from a public relation point of view, and he is good at that, if he denies all the reports and said they are safe, people will not believe him. If he say, according to my knowledge, he will be more believable. Back to you.
Sorry, you mean Araghchi or you mean Araghchi, right?
Yeah. Minister.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anas. So just reporting that the sound that the people were in the harbor, so in the marina around the Palm area, that's where people felt the big tremors.
In the marina area, that's a very populated, like very densely populated area.
It seems Sitrep that the UAE is taking the brunt of it. I'm gonna go to Mohammed after, but why would the UAE take so much flag for what's happening?
That's a good question. I mean, Qatar in the beginning, Bahrain, UAE. I don't know. That's a very interesting thought process. It could just be because they have a lot of economic interest, and all that, and they're trying to. And maybe there's a lot more international people there, so they're trying to force governments to put pressure on the U.S. and Israel to kind of stop this because Dubai and Abu Dhabi are huge, and a lot of business in the Middle East are done there. International visits.
Their relations with Israel.
Yeah, it could the Abraham Accords as well. That's
could it be also because that area has not yet been hit in Iran? The southern west area of Iran hasn't been hit that much compared.
No,
to
we had Bandar Abbas was hit.
No, but Sitrep, the southwest is the oil areas. Bandar Abbas is southwest, bordering Iraq and
like Abbas, like so Abbas.
Yeah, that was basically.
I mean, if you're looking, so the Iranian, so the ways they can hit UAE, like with the systems, all the missiles they have can basically, for almost all of them, can hit it. I think there could be tying into the Abraham Accords. It could also be tied into the aspect of that international travel, hoping to put pressure. It could also just be a miscommunication within the Al Ghadir Missile Command. I'm not, I guess we're operating under the assumption, and I would fall under that assumption that there's a centralized, units are operating within clear military plans and guidance, even though they can't be communicated. But there's a part of me that's also wondering if there's just mismatch and miscommunication. And it's just this is
that's what I mean. I mean because this area was not hit, because this area those groups are active. They see like we need to throw something, and they are targeting. They are like the team that is dedicated to targeting.
It could be. I mean, yeah, that's
and they are the only ones that are active.
It could be. It could. You know, it's very hard to obviously. You know, when you're looking at the ballistic missile force, that could be a legit. I can't give you definitive answers, to be honest, James. I can't. But you know, it's a good point. It looks like Dubai is getting hit way more than others, so that's the key question.
Okay,
Moy.
I'm gonna go to Moy Muiz. We haven't heard from you. Welcome on stage. We've had the chance to have you before. So, what do you think about the strikes and where is this going?
Hi, James, and hi, Mario. Yeah, thank you for having this space. They're always very useful. People get so much information, and I think it's just very, very important to just get the right information without jumping into conclusions, because at the beginning of every war, we have always counterintelligence saying things that have absolutely no ground, and it's important to just say the facts and move from there. The first thing I would would happen, to have a limited response and to, get the nuclear program as back as possible.
A coordinated strike inside of Iran, targeting multiple locations across the country. They attempted to justify these attacks publicly on the basis that Iran was a threat and that there was no other choice other than taking this action. But in reality, Iran wasn't a threat, and this was just propaganda. Among the sites hit were civilian areas, including a girls' school, where reports indicate that dozens of children were killed. The latest report says that around 50 children were killed. The scale and nature of these strikes immediately raised questions about intent and proportionality. From Iran's perspective, this was clearly not a defensive act. What they did was a preemptive strike without any kind of escalation or any reason to do so. In the aftermath of the first strikes, President Trump acknowledged that American soldiers could lose their lives as events folded. He was willing to risk Americans for Israel, essentially said, I'm going to sacrifice the American soldiers for Israeli interests. In effect, he's willing to accept US casualties in support of this operation, which is a stark contrast to the image that has long been projected by Donald Trump, where he portrayed himself as the no-war president. Now, after the Israeli strike, Iran responded within minutes, firing hypersonic missiles towards Israel and the GCC countries. The retaliation was rapid and coordinated, suggesting a level of preparedness that was completely completely unexpected. Ballistic missiles were launched towards military targets across the region, Israel, and the various GCC countries, and the speed of these attacks demonstrated how effective Iran actually was. Many of these missiles hit Israeli territory in a matter of minutes, reflecting the strength of the hypersonic ballistic missiles and the ordinary ballistic missiles. Israel themselves admitted that 35 missiles hit. It really demonstrated Iran's capability and strength, and it marked the beginning of a new phase in an already dangerous confrontation. Now, before we continue, a quick introduction to new viewers. My name is Suleiman Ahmed. I'm a journalist on X. I have over 750,000 followers, and I run the biggest live spaces with tens of thousands. Were dealt with in the airspace, but we also know that Kuwait was also hit. Multiple hits. I had on the ground confirmation that there was at least 8 hits with multiple waves. Jordan's military base confirmed that it also intercepted a couple of ballistic missiles, one of which fell on a house. And so the Jordanians are willing to harm their own people to defend Israel. The military base in Bahrain was also hit. Saudi Arabia denied that they were hit. They tried to ignore it, but now we have visuals of Saudi Arabia also being directly hit. And the reports are clear. Riyadh was hit hard. This response wasn't in isolation. Iran was ready. They didn't want the fight. They wanted an agreement. They wanted negotiations. But the US and Israel wanted war. And this was their response to the attack by Israel. Israel failed. They failed to kill the Ayatollah. They failed to kill the president. They failed to kill the chief of staff, the generals. They completely failed in their mission. Their attempt was a regime change and they failed. We know if it wasn't for Israel, Iran was at the negotiation table and something would have been agreed. It's Israel who didn't want Iran to have ballistic missiles because those ballistic missiles were never a threat to the United States of America. They were solely a threat to Israel. And that's the sole reason they went to war. The United States of America has gone to war for Israel and now they're going to sacrifice, as per what Trump said, American citizens for Israel. Israelis are willing to protect their own people, but they want Americans to sacrifice themselves. What this means for the region is that the multiple Gulf states are now in an issue. They've now included themselves in a war. We've had a statement from the Saudi foreign minister. We've had a statement from the Emirati saying they're going to join the United States of America. This will be major escalation. Iran targeted the US bases. If them countries support the United States and Israel, all it means is that Iran then has the ability to escalate. And escalate means the oil fields could be targeted. Various other infrastructure can also be targeted. In reality, this is going to be the final war. It depends on whose side everyone's going to come out on. And I have to give Pakistan credit that they've come out in support of Iran, unlike the remaining other GCC countries. This is basically how escalation works. One strike leads to another. Deterrence becomes retaliation. The retaliation of that retaliation is further retaliation. And we're just going to get escalation. Initially, we heard the war was going to be 4 days. Then we heard a few hours later it was going to be a week. And now we've heard that only the first phase is going to be a week. This war may end up going on for a very long time. Today's events showed that Iran is able to hit any of the GCC countries with their short and medium range missiles, and they're able to hit Israel whenever they want. We know that the attack by United States and Israel did not come out of nothing. This was planned. This was prepared. They had no plans for negotiation, and they want war. And this is a big slight on Donald Trump, who always claimed that he was the no-war president. It is the product of a cycle of escalation in which military actions were taken, not for the protection of populations, but for Israeli control within the region. And now the consequences are being felt across the Gulf states as well as Israel. In the comments, let me know what you think about how far this war will go and what will happen for the rest of the day. Do you expect Iran to continue bombing because they're still doing it 8 hours in? If you found this video useful, make sure to like the video, make sure to share it with your friends and family. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on. Multiple updates every single day about the war. You will know exactly what's happening in real time. And do think about becoming a paid member of our community so that we can do the work that we are doing. We appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Good shit. That was awesome. How do you remember all that stuff? Or do you have a teleprompter? That was really good. Very, very good.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. That's all I do is watch that. So anyway, guys, back to the thing. Guys, on that video, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you, what was it again? No, make sure you like the comment. What do you do on YouTube? Like and comment. Yeah, like and comment so you make sure you go viral. Okay, guys, get back to the
comment,
comments.
subscribe.
Oh, that's it. Like, comment, and subscribe.
On the subscribe, you have to hit the bell symbol and hit all, and then you get a notification every time Suleiman releases a new video.
Appreciate that. Simon knows his stuff. Shout out to Silver Sailor who gifted 5 memberships when we hit 1,000 likes on this stream. So we hit 1,000 on this stream. Silver Sailor hit 5 memberships. Guys, if we get 1,000 on the new one, he said he's going to give another 5. So let's get 1,000 likes on this tweet in the nest, the one on the left. If we get 1,000 on there, he's going to give another 5 memberships. So yeah, guys, do that for me. Okay, guys, back to the space. Important. We give the updates. DD, have you got any more updates?
It looks like there's a lot of action from that hit in central Israel, and I'm looking for more information on that right now.
Yeah, Dubai looks like it got hit as well, didn't it, that you were mentioning earlier, right?
Exactly, and they're saying right now, oh, it just went away. Israeli radio was saying that I believe somebody may have been killed.
Oh, well, I'll give a little update on what we know about markets so far. Obviously, it's the weekend. They always do these things over the weekend, and there's also various holidays which are quite symbolic. But because the markets aren't open, there's essentially in the lead up to this, there's been an increase in the price of oil, and it's peaked at about $73 right now.
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Yeah, we did. We just lost Simon. Guys, like I said, if you get kicked out the space, if you get thrown out the space, if you get thrown out of listeners, nobody's thrown you out. Obviously, our space is being targeted because obviously we had more numbers than the Zio space. So just come back in. It is what it is. People do what they do. So if you can do that, just come straight back in. We're also streaming this live on YouTube. That tweet's in the nest. It's the one on the right-hand side, because we're streaming this live on YouTube as well. What else? Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Didi. Do you have something breaking?
I've now got the second. Yeah, I've just got the second confirmation, so I'm good to say it. Reports of 1 death, 1 injury in Tel Aviv. The Israeli Army radio also reports that 1 person has been seriously injured. They have not reported the death, but we're hearing it from others. And I'm going to send you the video right now. It's definitely a direct impact. Boom, boom, Tel Aviv.
It is indeed a boom, boom, Tel Aviv.
And they didn't even wait. So sirens are going off yet again in Israel. The Dubai hit, and I believe another one of the Gulf countries is on alert.
Yeah, I'm just putting the video out about the Dubai hit. Dubai's being hit. Tel Aviv is being targeted. They're not even giving us Iran's not even giving us a break. They're like literally smashing them up. I remember the drones were sent about an hour. Was it like an hour ago when I mentioned it? Maybe 30 minutes ago. So the drones should be hitting there soon as well.
They're saying that the hit in Dubai was a direct hit on a hotel. I just sent you that video. It's on fire.
Yeah, I'll put that out. It's just loading now and it's going to go on there. But yeah, that's been hit. Let's see what else we
I'm
got.
seeing that. Is Nathan up here? Because I'm seeing yet another hit in Tel Aviv. Different area.
No, I think Nathan went down.
Yeah, he got
Let me
kicked out
see.
about 40 minutes ago, and then because I was away, I think there wasn't a chance for him to be brought back up. That's what he mentioned to me. So yeah, Nathan, if you're around, just come back up. Yeah, we got some. Let's see what else we got. We got some breaking news. Let's see what else we've got. Let me see. Dubai. Yeah, this Dubai hotel video is crazy. That's a significant hit.
Wait, they hit that dope hotel, like the one oh you're talking about the very tall one? There's the tall one, and then there's the one that looks like a boat.
The Burj Al Arab.
I know. I think
I've
this is
never
just
seen
a
that.
ran. I think this is just a ran. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think this is just a random one.
Can you hear me, Solomon?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
You were speaking and then you just randomly just cut out.
Yeah, there's definitely a Pegasus attack going on here. Yeah, I was just saying that in terms of what we can read from the market so far, I don't know where I got cut off, but they tend to do these things over the weekend because they want to assess the impact of the market and the futures markets. And so on Sunday, we'll be able to read a little bit more in terms of how the market is reacting to this news. Leading up to this, the price of oil has gone up to a peak right now of about $73, which is probably a new all-time high since the 12-day war. We did get over $80 at one stage, but we're at $73. So leading up to this whole what we're witnessing right now, over the week there was probably about $11 impact the price of oil as well as just OPEC. So there's a bit of diversification there. But $73, I think you could attribute $11 of that to a political premium based upon uncertainty. If we were to get something as radical economically as closing down the Strait of Hormuz, you'd expect a significant increase in the price of oil right now. The only other things we know is actually, as far as I understand, I don't think there's ever been direct any type of military action between Iran and UAE before. So that's new. The market, that's a new thing for the market to assess in terms of all of these different strikes on US bases and how the market interprets that. Interestingly, the only
Really
market.
quickly, I'm sorry, breaking news. Khomeini's going to be talking.
Believe me, I am
Somebody
not.
put that
I
up.
wish
Let's give
I
my
wish
daughter
this
back.
war wasn't on us so that
I
I can
understand that,
actually
Donna,
talk
but I
about
think we
the
cannot.
Yeah, Miss,
brutality.
are you able to
But
find
this is
that
the problem with
Khamenei's
America.
speech?
America does not understand Iran. America never understood Iran.
I'll try and find it if
we,
it plays
the
it on Al
ordinary
Jazeera as well.
people, have
Yeah, if you
paid
could,
the
yeah. Or
price
somebody
for
can
it.
find
It
it and
did
just send it
not
to us,
understand
and then
Iran
then
when it
Simon
put
can play it.
sanctions
Or
on
I
Iran
can't play because I'm on
and
the headset because I'm on
pardoned
this studio
the
prop.
regime elements.
But
And
if
who
you
were the
can
people who
do that for
suffered?
me,
The
that'd be awesome.
ordinary people. And this is absolutely relevant about
Yeah,
what
sorry,
is
Simon, you were
happening
speaking
to
about
No,
the
but
us.
Iran.
About this
Yeah,
Donna,
and then
Donna,
the
I
only
got
other
that.
thing we
With all
know,
due respect,
because
got that. The
there's not
protests
much
in
we know at
January
this point,
started out as
but
economics because the real was
the
a
only
free fall.
market
You
that's
could spend
kind of open
sanctions. We're not going to go this
is
back and forth, but
currency,
the
and
thing is,
Bitcoin's
I
had a
get
bit of a
that. I'm very
correction,
interested to see this
5%,
pre-recorded
nothing
because
too
if any
meaningful.
administration would
I
do something
mean,
like
we
this,
could
if they're
try
not, they're
and draw
wholeheartedly
some analysis there,
incompetent
but I
because they
don't think it's
didn't
very meaningful
pre-record it.
because
They
obviously
should just
Dubai is one of the
exactly
most
because of this
important
point that you're trying to say.
for like the Bitcoin and
That's the
crypto
whole reason why.
ecosystem.
And so we have to watch it to see if it's
But
pre-recorded
at
or
the
if it's
moment,
live.
Bitcoin's
That's the
kind of
key
Just to
aspect.
more of
pinpoint,
the
even
AI
Hassan
play.
Nasrallah's speech
So
was considered
if it's
also
down over the
not Ali
weekend, you
Khamenei, but he
expect
was
like AI
pretty close.
stocks, and then we got the whole Anthropic
They
thing.
were
I don't
all
want to go off
pre-recorded at the times of war.
kilter.
None of
But
those
I'll be watching the
Pre-recorded
futures
is
market on Sunday leading
pre-recorded
into market
in a
open
message that would say
to
that I
see at the
have
moment there's nothing
been
abnormal
made
other than
shaheed
a
or
political
whatever.
premium in the
No, no,
price
no,
It
of
no,
will not
no.
be
oil,
Donna,
which if it
pre-recorded as well.
sustains
All his speeches
for a longer
throughout the
period of
Iran
time,
period
that's going
are
to work
pre-recorded
against
speeches. It's independent because you
America's
can't
strategic
have an
goals
IP
and
while there is
China's
bombers
strategic
above
goals.
your head.
So I'd expect them
It's
both
impossible.
to intervene there.
Independently of what you think, there is no, except if he's in the center of the earth, he is
Okay,
reachable.
I
So
just
there
tweeted
is no
out the
way that the Iranian regime will send a live feed that
what
can
you
be
call it again?
tracked in
A
order
tweet
for Ali
about
Khamenei to
Israel
speak.
being hit
Let's be
hard.
Kuwait
honest about this.
International Airport got hit by a drone strike
And
from
yeah, that's the
Iran.
latest news. Didi, we got any other latest news? My phone's.
Well, we're assuming Iran. It could also be from Iraqi militia groups, injuring several workers. So the Kuwaiti International Airport has been hit by a drone strike.
Okay, I just want to add, Dubai has been hit. There was an actual hit in the marina, specifically where we're trying to pinpoint, but that's the first verified hit on the UAE, not something where it's been
James, but what about Jabal Ali? That was hit, right? The
we
port
could
at Jabal Ali.
we couldn't confirm. We don't have the
Oh,
confirmation. If you have the confirmation, please look.
okay. I'll look for it.
So that's what we have info for now. Just so I can go through some of the news before we go back. So we're kind of focusing on Dubai because a lot of people we know or in the region are in Dubai. Other points that we're having. So Senate GOP leader praises Trump military action. We have information that all the leadership in the US have been briefed about the situation. They were told that the attack was going to happen, except one who didn't answer his phone and got the message after the strike. There is information that the Iranian supreme leader will give a speech. This is like the fourth time that it was said today by different medias, and it was retracted after that. We still need to point out that the leadership of Hezbollah hasn't given a statement yet. The Houthis haven't given a statement, and Iraq is still seemingly in an unstable situation. I would have loved to have Vladimir here for a quick question about Iraq. Alan, aren't you in Dubai? Okay, he seems not to be here. Sitrap, do you have more info or news in the moment, or we move to the people?
You can move. Actually, no, wait. Hold on. I'll share it right now. Give me a second. Now, right here. So this is from Iranian media. Let me give you, I think it's Iranian media. Give you a second. Oh, well, no, this is AFP. AFP reporting I'll share right now. I just got the alert from my app. SITREP. Iran orders Tehran evacuation amid the conflict. Iranian authorities have demanded residents of the capital, Tehran, to evacuate the city. This directive comes amidst exchange of strikes between Iran, the United States, and Israel. Yeah. So Iran has ordered Tehran the evacuation of Tehran per the AFP. I will share that right now in the nest. And so that everybody can read it. But I think that's a pretty significant development right there.
That's Tehran is like, last I checked, was 16, 17 million people.
This is just to cause some havoc. It's not going to actually happen.
Here is another breaking news. During the, do you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you.
Sorry. There's glitches, so don't worry. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. During the 12-day wars in June, Israel basically closed the Leviathan gas field that sent gas to Egypt and Jordan, and now they did it again. So it's closed right now. This is a crisis for both Egypt and Jordan. Back to you.
Yeah. And acknowledge, James. No issues. I got it. So I think that those are the key aspects that we're looking at. I'm going to try to see if there's any additional information that's kind of from the region. I think the Kuwait one is very interesting. I would wonder if it's a drone strike, or if it was a drone strike that actually came from Iran, excuse me, or Iraq. To be honest, I wouldn't assume Iran automatically, knowing the presence of Iraqi Shia militia groups there. So that's in the kind of the situation that we're at. Ubay, you haven't had a chance to speak, so I'll give you an opportunity to kind of say your initial points. Go ahead, Ubay.
Yeah, we're seeing some preliminary reaction from American political officials. Speaker Mike Johnson just posted this on X, saying that today Iran is facing the severe consequences of its evil actions. President Trump and the administration have made every effort to pursue peaceful and diplomatic solutions in response to the Iranian regime's sustained nuclear ambitions and development, terrorism, and the murder of Americans and even their own people. The Gang of Eight was briefed in detail earlier this week that military action may become necessary to protect American troops and American citizens in Iran. I received updates from Secretary Rubio thereafter, and I will remain in close contact with the President and the Department of War as this operation proceeds. So we did see that Gang of Eight briefing just a couple of days preceding the commencement of Operation Epic Fury. So this is being framed by the administration as protecting American national security interests in the region and keeping American citizens and American service members safe from Iranian attacks and attacks by the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard. So it's interesting to see that political framing. I think the president's words this morning, that focusing on Iranian citizens and the opportunity for the Iranian people to take control of their country were very significant. We've been mentioning how President Trump in the preceding days has been repeating the mass slaughter of Iranian citizens by the Iranian regime, and I think it is very significant that again he mentioned the attacks by Khamenei's forces against Iranian citizens in his justification speech to the American public. And given that the Iranian people are hanging on every single word that comes from President Trump, I think it was very much calculated that President Trump mentioning that this is an opportunity for the Iranian people to gain their freedom. This is going to last, I believe, for quite some time.
Well, I just shared what I briefed before you talked up in the nest of the Iranian government ordering evacuations to Tehran. I mean, yeah, it's the capital, it's a major city, so I don't know how that's even feasible or possible or exact. I mean, it's just it's the capital with tens of millions of people. So, but it is very significantly noteworthy, and I think it indicates significant concern within the Islamic Republic and the ability of what's going on in the capital and within the strikes. I will note that kind of the information to get from Iran is very difficult at the moment. Unlike the 12-day war, where we still had
alarms in Tel Aviv. Alarms in Tel Aviv.
And then UAE Defense Ministry says it intercepted a new wave of Iranian missiles and drones. Yeah, Dubai is the center of the strikes. But unlike the 12-day war, where internet connectivity within Iran was still pretty, it's still accessible, and so there was the ability to get information and videos out from people inside of Iran. Right now, we're running into a situation of almost a near total internet blackout inside of the country. So any strikes that may be happening in Iran right now, we're just not getting those footage. So we're relying on either reports from the government being, kind of leaked to the press, or official statements and official videos, as the Israeli Air Force has kind of released a couple showing some of their strikes. But we do believe that some of the numbers, I think, it kind of spread it out, where dozens, if not hundreds, of targets have already been struck. So that's kind of the situation we're at, but I think that's the main problem we're running into here, is trying to get the information from Iran out. And unfortunately, we don't have good visibility there on the situation and the overall mood and the targets that are going on.
Is anyone in Dubai right now? There's impacts being reported near Palm Jumeirah.
Where exactly? Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, it's in a hotel. It's in a hotel. I got the confirmation from someone who lives there. It's in a hotel in Palms in Jumeirah. It's around the marina area. So specifically, one hotel was hit with a drone, civilian infrastructure, and there is a mall around it. So they're trying to evacuate the mall from behind. But until now, there is and City Walk 2 was hit. So all of those areas have been hit until now, 2 or 3 different hits, completely civilian areas, etc.
Yeah,
I mean, this is in the heart of Dubai.
Is a major focus of this, which is interesting. I interrupted somebody. Go ahead, Dubai.
This is in the center of Dubai. I mean, and this could be just fragments of ballistic missiles. Of course, when they fall, they create an impact, or fragments of interceptors as well. I mean, this is very significant. This is in the center of Dubai.
There are interception, and there is one interception that fell inside Tel Aviv, causing some fire, but no injuries.
Palm and Marina are populated areas, but they're far from the center. But interestingly, what I'm waiting for news from is Iran's consulate, the mosque that is run by the supreme leader, and the hospital, like the hub of Iranian government activity, is somewhat close. It's on Jumeirah Road, and it's somewhat close. Not in terms of not walking distance, but driving distance, and in terms of, like, when it comes to missiles and bombing, they have all their facilities there. It's a huge hub there. So it's just interesting. I'm waiting to see what they're doing and how close to that they're going to get.
We are getting footage from strikes, the aftermath of strikes in Iraq, not Iraq, the city in Iran. There's some videos coming out of the aftermath of the strikes there. And Saudi Arabia did confirm it repelled Iranian missile attacks. So that's confirmation from the Saudis that in fact did happen. And I'm going to stand by. Anas, go ahead.
I just want to talk about the Tehran evacuation. We've seen that during the 12-day war, and it caused serious problems on the highways and roads. It caused panic. But here is the way to look at it. The Israelis basically have bunkers, they have shelters, and most of their people basically are trained to run away, and they have certain protocols basically how to do it. The Iranians don't, and they don't.
Dubai is going to hit more than Qatar and Bahrain, even though Bahrain has the Abraham Accords and they have NAFTA. So it's just this UAE aspect. Unless Iran believes that UAE is playing an integral role of supporting Israel and U.S. strikes, maybe they publicly said no, but they're allowing the use of their airspace. And from a military component, it's just the only way they can really retaliate, or this disjointed feature. But yes, I would agree. I mean, yeah, James, like you said it earlier, and to everybody here, I mean, Dubai is clearly getting hit a lot more.
So before we go to someone else, there was a call between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. We're getting more and more footage. If you guys check Mario's account, there's more and more footage of the Iranian suicide drone that hit the Kuwaiti airport. A lot of damage inside of their airport, hopefully no one was dead. And we're unsure if that was a strike by the Iraqi militias or if this was a strike from the Iranians. So it was a drone and not a ballistic missile, based on what we have up to now. And the Iran foreign minister has claimed again in another interview that the supreme leader was, based on his knowledge, alive, along with other high-value officials after Israel and the United States struck some targets this morning. There is a lot of information starting to come up. The main point is that the US media is starting to wake up to the information, and we'll be getting more info and more returns from that media. The only final point I will bring up, Cedric, is that we have really no information about what's happening inside of Iran right now, which is kind of scary, because it could be.
I mean, there's some. It's hard. I actually, that's why I was literally going to jump in. So I'll just, because of this from. So it's very minimum. I would agree with you, but there is some. So a video sent to Iran International reports a case of a military base in Garmadar in Al-Baraz province being hit. Like I said, Iraq also was another one being struck. I'm trying to see if there's any others. What is this from? Oh, this is interesting. A video received by Iran International. I was just going to say.
Sorry, what dropped in Dubai, it's quite important. What dropped in Dubai was an interceptor that landed inside of the hull of an hotel. And that's what blew up.
Got it. So IRGC is reporting that they're launching a new wave attack against U.S. military bases in the region. So keep an eye on Bahrain, keep an eye on Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan. There is a video at a Bashir where there's literally like just a normal drone flying and they're trying to shoot it down with like small arms or something, and they're not hitting it. So clearly they have no air defense assets available. So some of that is going out. And then, yeah, so, and then there might be another round of strikes. I don't know, if James, if somebody has their hand up.
Can I the evacuation in Tehran? I was just looking at my feed, and a couple hours ago, actually a few hours ago, Reza Pahlavi has issued like a message to people asking them to take to the streets. So potentially, this evacuation order from Tehran would be partly government's way of combating that, to preventing people from congregating on the streets or taking to the streets in street protests and causing that. It could be kind of a preventative measure in response to that too.
We did see that. Oh, sorry, I interrupted. Go.
I have a question.
Was it you, James?
Me. Yeah, I have a question. Back in 2024, sorry, when Hassan Nasrallah was killed. After the strike, Israel struck a couple of areas and then waited for around 48 hours where there was no actual strike in the region or around the region to allow confirmation and to allow things to take their course. Could we be in a similar situation?
No, I think there's strikes going on. It's just because just one thing I wanted to say, just taking a step back to the previous point, was we did get reports that Basij was roaming around Tehran. So I think to your point, Maral, that between the Basij being in Tehran and then the order of the evacuations, I think is more tied to that. Would be interesting, very interesting. Again, that's why they shut down the internet. That's a very interesting development. I don't necessarily believe that would 100% be the United States. It could be. Obviously, I'm not purview to the plan. We can absolutely shut down the internet in Iran if we wanted to, and it could be part of the plan to do that. but there's also an incentive to keep it open, to share the information, and to maybe now enable these protests. And we'll see if there's a future moment where, after this initial strikes and this domination, if there's an idea for incentivizing protests where they open up the internet and they keep it open. Trying to just see if there's any additional
update from Channel 12. They're saying that the Israeli Air Force have started a new wave targeted at Iranian launchers.
Yeah, there is strikes now directed at Tel Aviv. I see that Kuwait International Airport, the aftermath of that strike. But right now, Tel Aviv is getting hit also. At the request of
but on the salvo that were over the last 2 hours, now the Israeli Air Force is going after the launchers.
Well, yeah, we did see those videos of the launchers. Somebody called me. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the people were ready to leave. I know through my own relatives and network and friends and people that they had been in contact with me, that they said we are ready to leave. So I don't say that because of any being foreseen at having rallies or anything would happen inside of Iran right now. That happened in 12 days also. We didn't see anything from people. So people right now are just looking of getting out of the way and empty the city, Tehran specifically. Anything would happen, it would be after the strike is over. It's not going to happen right now. So I don't think people are leaving because, as you said, they don't have any place to hide. And everybody has something and somewhere to go, from all around Tehran, to the north, to the south, to the west, to the east. They have relatives. And this is what we saw last time, too. So I really think right now people are focusing on, surviving this round of strikes, and then if we see any rallies, any protests in Iran, it would be way after the strikes. That's what I see.
I
Shirin,
second, yes. I second that. That's also my information, that people are leaving because they are trying to protect themselves. Not everybody can leave, of course. But that is the situation. And if unless there's been a new message from Reza Pahlavi, the one that I listened to specifically said that at the time of our choosing, we will let you know when is the time for you to come out on the streets. But it's specifically said that will be announced at a later stage.
Well, the people are not going to come out because he's calling for it. Because this regime, at the end of the day, you have to fight back. And this is what Reza Pahlavi lacks. He doesn't have organized group inside of Iran. So you can call on people to come out, and they have a very bad taste from last time.
Just jumping in in the last 7 minutes, the Israeli Air Force on their official X page has put this following statement. The Air Force has begun a campaign and is now attacking missile launchers in Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. So we are seeing that extenuation, the continuation of the strike campaigns from Israel now into Iran, into this phase of the military operations. Nope.
So who in Polymarket successfully guessed the time?
I don't even want to go there.
I'm not betting, but whoever followed my X account even this morning could have see what was coming.
I think it was the signs were all there. I think, and that's what's an interesting aspect with the Omani foreign minister. Actually, if somebody can add Piotr, please. He's requesting. I'm having a glitch and I'm not able to add him. So Mario's team, if you could see if you can add Piotr, because I'm unable to. What I would say is that it was pretty clear, and I think the Omani foreign minister's trip here was really like a last-ditch effort. I think in his mind, he thought it was enough. Clearly, it was not, and the administration didn't convey that. But I think it was clear it was going to be soon. And the question was how much patience did the Trump administration have from a diplomatic side, and number two, more importantly, also, it could be just that just like we saw with Venezuela, where a go was given, and they were just waiting on situation on the ground to make it better. And I think that's kind of the situation that we're running in, is that who. Was this the meeting, for example, was a key determining factor of getting all the leaders in a meeting? Was that the key factor that they were waiting for so they could do a one strike blow decapitation strike? And that's why we didn't see a strike last week or a couple of days ago, or we were going to see a strike a couple of days from now, that the go was given. Because if you all remember, in Venezuela, the approval of the mission was actually originally supposed to be Christmas of 2025. But between the weather and then the strikes in Nigeria against an ISIS camp there, delayed it, and then we saw it in January 3rd. And I'm wondering if this is a similar situation where President Trump already made up his mind a while ago, and they were just waiting for the right conditions. Piotr, I see your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I just got back off streaming with Mario, and we had a very comprehensive, widespread. Okay. We had a comprehensive conversation about everything, and I just wanted to share a couple takeaways from that. I think one of the darker elements is, to what extent could this be part of a broader strategy by the US, Israel, whatever, to take out enough of the Islamic Republic? I think that's the key question: is to what extent is this regime change, right? How far down the ladder do you want to go in terms of seniority before you feel that you've effectively eradicated enough of the Islamic Republic that you can then begin talking to what's left? Moreover to that is that the situation in Iran is obviously very precarious, and if the situation becomes so archaic, then that means effective civil war. So the Israelis and the Americans can sort of be like, well, we've done what we needed to do. Now we'll leave it to sort of the Iranian people. But then that obviously triggers and opens the door for separatist movements, for a multifaceted, sort of like a Syria, right, where you've got different faction groups fighting with one another over control of Iran itself, over Balochistan, which then pulls in Pakistan potentially, or the Kurds,
Piotr,
which pulls in Turkey.
share some breaking news? So this is kind of somewhat, but so this is some additional information about the decapitation strike, which is kind of one of the areas you're going into, right? Senior Iranian officials eliminated in strikes. Simultaneous strikes hit 3 locations where Iranian officials were gathered, resulting in the elimination of several senior figures vital for the management and governance of the country, according to a high-level Israeli military source via Fox News. We do not have the specific names that were eliminated, but this wasn't just one meeting that was kind of portraying about. It was several locations that have been targeted that eliminated various figures within the Islamic Republic as part of that strike. So I'll pass it back on to you, Piotr, because that just broke.
Yeah, thanks. No, I mean, no, I think that's what, it's going to be reinforcing a lot of what we're saying. Personally, I think that the situation in Iran is a little bit too difficult to tell, and depends highly on the extent of this regime change, right? We use that term a lot, but it's important to try to, from a strategic standpoint, actually pin down exactly what it means. Because in Iran, you've got the Guardian Council, right? 12 members. You've got the Assembly of Experts, 86 people. You've got the Expediency Council. These are all elements that the Americans, the Israelis may think that they need to effectively take out to gut the system enough that they can then sort of talk to the more technocratic elements of the cabinet and the president, right? In principle, the Islamic Republic is a very theological entity, but like anything, it has to be very practical in how it's constructed and how it's maintained. So there are people, as I said before, and you've probably said subsequently, that are more restrained or more pragmatic than those who are more religious zealots. So I think that's a critical distinction as to how far these operations go, and what their endpoint is. The other thing I wanted to touch on very quickly that we covered with Mario is the Strait of Hormuz, and I'd be interested for Anas's comments if he's got any. Which is simply that if the Iranians can effectively take control of the Strait of Hormuz, would that mean that the Americans literally move in there to push them out and occupy it themselves? But then that makes them a very easy target from not even from maritime means, but from mainland Iran, right? They could quite easily use missiles and assets to target American ships and whatever assets as well. So I don't think the Iranians are exactly going to do land-based warfare, right? This isn't conventional war of attrition, but I think it's going to get very messy in the maritime theatre potentially, because the Iranians have to weigh up their options, and each missile that they launch against one target is a trade-off for where they could have used it somewhere else. So are they going to try to force the hand of the Americans by putting the maritime theatre under as much pressure as possible, because they maybe have a comparative advantage? Yes, America has huge ships and capabilities, but the Iranians have quite fluid dynamics there, right? They have smaller drones, they have smaller dinghies and boats that could become a pain in the ass for Americans to deal with. We saw this 7-8 years ago against the British when a tanker was seized. I think another American one was seized, right? Sitrat, maybe if you remember those things in June of 2018. So I'm quite interested to see whether the Strait of Hormuz really becomes a hotspot in subsequent days. But yeah,
I want to add
curious
to
what
this.
people think.
I want to add to this, Peter. I think that the American Navy is well aware of what capabilities the IRGC has, even in small boats, and I'm sure that they will strive very hard to keep the Hormuz Strait open. As Anas have said before, the capability to actually close the straits for a significant amount of time does not exist. Right now in Israel, there are two, they are following two missiles.
Yeah, sorry, can I just sorry, news on this very thing. The IRGC have told vessels through VHF transmission that, quote, no ship is allowed to pass the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, but you can look